If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Here for this week's Sheriff Spotlight is Bet Shell. She is here to talk about sweepstakes scammers and how they are scamming thousands of people just like you and me, and how you can avoid being put on their list. Good morning. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
This is such a, all of the scams and things that we talk about are just so terrible, and it's terrible to hear people become victim to this, because people are losing thousands of dollars of their hard-earned money to people like these scammers, and one in particular that we're talking about today, these lottery scams. And I was saying, if it sounds too good to be true, if somebody calls you up and you pick up the phone and they say you won something like that, maybe in posing like the what is it, Publishers Clearinghouse or something.
Yeah.
It is probably too good to be true, right?
Well,
as
for
much
one
as we
thing,
want to believe it.
Publishers Clearinghouse will never call you to tell you that you've won.
Yeah, they show up at your door,
they
right?
show up at your door, just
you
like
can ask for
on
ID.
TV. Yes, yes, exactly. And I think the main thing I want to get across here today is, because we do a lot of safety tips where we put out about things to look for so that you don't become a victim. But oftentimes what happens is that family members, if the victim is fortunate enough to have caring family members, because a lot of times these victims, they live alone, so they don't have anyone to go to. But I think it's really important that family members really learn the red flags of something that their parents or grandparents might be involved in, because it's the older population that are really being taken advantage of, and not only losing thousands, but actually losing their homes and their cars. I visited a lady in Lehigh last year who hadn't had any electricity or water for 10 days.
Oh my gosh.
Because she was sending all of her money to Jamaica, thinking that she was paying for the taxes on her sweepstakes winnings that she thought she was going to have. So it's actually more prevalent here than we know.
Right, with the elderly community here in Southwest Florida.
And I did on Nextdoor, I did a posting last week, and I had some comments that said, why would anybody do that? How could they, don't they know? And the unfortunate part of it is as we age, our cognitive memory impairment starts to decline.
Right, you don't think about that.
It's not it's not sometimes, in some cases, they're not able to understand and to put it together. And so it's not that they're stupid or gullible or, whatever, money grubbing. It's just they've lost that part of their memory. So
and think about a lot of people who really don't have anybody to look after them either. I mean,
and that's
I know
a
lot of these scammers can actually be pretty convincing, and when you're in that situation and you don't really have anybody around to look after you, it seems like it might be kind of easy to fall victim to that.
It is. And I was telling there's a son who called, his mom is involved in this, and I was telling him, these scammers are much like child predators. They will groom the older adult,
right?
Particularly those that live alone and don't have family, because they will call them in the morning. How are you feeling? How are you doing? How are your aches and pains? And they'll talk about their supposed, they'll talk. The scammer will talk about their supposed children, and sometimes they'll even put the children on the phone and have the children develop a relationship with the victim, and they'll have the children start calling the victim grandma.
Organized.
It is extremely organized.
So what does it sound like? What should we be looking out for if somebody's listening right now and we pick up a call that sounds a little fishy? What do we need? What are the signs?
Well, the first thing is that there is no legitimate or sweepstakes or lottery that's ever going to ask you to pay money in advance. So if you get a phone call that says, yeah, absolutely, you've won $2.5 million in a brand new car, but first, before you can get that, you have to go to Western Union and wire transfer, $2,000 to pay for taxes or shipping.
Do they typically say this is in a foreign country? Or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And the biggest problem that we have, and the one that seems to be the most aggressive, are the Jamaican sweepstakes lottery scammers. So we always tell people, if you have caller ID and you see an 876 exchange, don't even answer it, because the problem is once you start a conversation with them, they don't let go very easily.
Would that even be legal as far as the foreign
No,
lottery?
actually it's against the law to do any kind of foreign lottery. So if you live in the United States and you're doing a foreign lottery, that's illegal to begin with. But there's no, for instance, if you played the lottery this weekend and you got a winning ticket, you're not going to go and wire transfer the taxes to the Florida lottery system in Tallahassee.
Right.
They're going to already have that taken out of your winnings when you get there, and that's the same.
That's first on their list.
Oh, absolutely.
When you win the lottery.
Absolutely. They're going to get it, but they're not going to have you wire transfer money to them. They're going to take it out. But, so there's so many red flags. If you're a caregiver or you're taking care of a parent and their phone's constantly ringing, and they've all of a sudden have a new friend or they're making a lot of visits to the grocery store or the post office in order to wire transfer money.
Look a little closer at the
Look a little
situation.
closer. And as children and as our parents age, we really need to ourselves know the red flags, because we get busy in our lives and we think that everything is okay with mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, and we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Right. Put yourself in that position. Imagine if that was your loved
Exactly.
one. So the bottom line here, we're out of time now, but don't wire money to anybody you don't know.
Yep. Don't believe you've won a sweepstakes or lottery.
And if you have questions, call you guys.
Absolutely.
Because you guys are such a great resource.
Yeah, you can always call the fraud line and we will help you. You know, these scammers use well-known names like Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes, but it's not true.
Beth, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always great to have you back.
Thanks.
For more information on this segment, head to our website, fox4morningblend.com. Hey, you got a business or idea that you would like to see featured on the show? Let us know. Connect with us through social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram. Come check us out and say hello.